Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation homebrew news and much, much more. So, hot off of the presses is this tweet by Sleirsgoevy, and it says PS5 payload loader host for 4.03 now up on his site right here, and it says accepts payloads in PLD format, which is .bin, but ELF payloads are not supported. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into his site. This is the URL that you would need to put into your PlayStation 5 browser. Now, I've made just a quick shortcut to this if you want to use it. It's just mcrump.me/SG, but you'll see me use it in just a second. You can either use mine or you can just type in this URL into your PS5 web browser. Now, what it states right here is read this carefully before proceeding, and it says this exploit loads payloads in pld.bin format on PS5 firmware 4.03. And then it says other firmwares and payload formats are not supported. So it says click on the link that says JB plus Netcat, which is this one right here. And it says in about 20 seconds, you'll get a pop-up saying waiting for payloads. This means that everything has gone well. You can then send your payload to TCP port 9019. It says if something went wrong during the process, you may get an alert saying jailbreak failed, reboot your PS5 and try again. In this case, you must reboot your PS5, preferably without closing the dialog box. If the system hangs for more than a minute, may require more time on slow internet connections, reboot your PS5 and try again. And then if the system crashes like an instant power down, press the power button on the PS5, not the gamepad, until it turns on again, then retry. It says this exploit does crash and hang. Sometimes you even have to retry it 10 times to get the jailbreak. Now, what strikes me immediately as something that is interesting is that in the credits right here, it has the flow for vulnerability disclosure. So we all know the flow from numerous hacks that we all have today on our PlayStation consoles and handhelds. And then the rest of these are your typical folks. So Chindo Chat for Userland, CFI Bypass, Spectre Dev, and again, Chindo Chat was in here again. And then there's just this link right here. Obviously, we could now go to Sleirsgoevy's site until it gets redistributed on other platforms and go to this link right here, and we would be able to start sending payloads. Really very similar to what we are already doing right now with Spectre Dev's PS5 IPv6 kernel exploit. So this right now is hosted just about everywhere, and without knowing too much about this and with it being super new, I'm not exactly sure how that differs from the kernel exploit than what we got here. I believe this is based on something brand new, which is going to be very good news if it is. And I did want to mention that over here on Control Execute's account that he stated right here, Slair's method is out now. You can grab the 4.03 site in his newest repo, PS4 JB2. The 4.03 folder has the site. As for the payload.bin to dump a mounted game, you can send it on this link. He does say that that file will match the version that Slairs released. So this is obviously talking about now us being able to dump a full PlayStation 5 game without any of the kind of hiccups that we had in the past. But we will go ahead and we will send a payload to our PlayStation 5. So let's jump over and do that now. Okay, just as a very quick refresher, this was the original kind of exploit for the PlayStation 5 where we were able to get debug settings. Now, this one is by Spectre Dev, which I'm not going to run it, but I did want to at least bring it up on the screen here where maybe it would jog your memory. And that know that the one that we're about to run basically is going to replace this. Okay, so I created a quick URL just called mcrump.me/SG. Otherwise, you can just type in that longer address that Sleirsgoevy released. So once that's complete, we're going to do R2 and we're going to submit this. And here are those exact same instructions that we just went over a little bit earlier. A quick shortcut to get down to the JB plus Netcat menu is obviously just pressing down on your PS5 controller. And now we're going to press X. And there we go. That is exactly what we were looking for. Debug waiting for payloads. Now I'm going to go ahead and load up Netcat GUI. I've plugged in my IP address, and for my port number, it's going to be 9019. And I have selected just a bin file that I just kind of already had. And now I'm going to hit inject payload. Okay, there we go. So this was obviously just the FTP payload. I just wanted to send this one over because I already had it. So I'm now going to go back to, let's go back to the main menu. And I do not see debug settings, which I'm sure most people will be asking about that. So it does not look like, at least with this version that we're using today, that debug settings automatically comes with it, such as the last version by SpectreDev when it did. Well, anyway, there's going to be all kinds of news covering this in the next coming days, but I hope this at least gave you a little bit of information where maybe you could go try it out right now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Michael, out.